All right, look, man. So I was going into like the film session, I would say, like after every game I watched the film, obviously, but I didn't even notice that we got 5 sacks and we barely blitzed. It took me getting on Instagram, seeing that, hey, we only had a blitz rate of 15% and we still got 5 sacks. And if you're wondering why that's kind of crazy to me, it's because we were second in the league in blitz rate. We still are. But for us to only blitz 15% of the time, when we normally blitz like 40, 50, sometimes 60% of the time, very rarely was it 60, but you get what I'm saying. Like, we used to blitz a lot, especially on third down. For us to take that step and just have to send 4 and still win, y'all had to know we were going to talk about it, because I also noticed that what I said about our pass rush over the summer was, I said we just need to get guys off their first read and we'll be fine. And I looked at about 3 of those sacks, and 3 of those sacks came in quick game. And like, it's hard to get sacks in quick game because the ball's coming out. So we held them guys like under wraps the entire game. They had 3 points on offense. I mean, it took a pick 6 for them to score, but like, whatever. Y'all here for the film. I'm finna give y'all the film breakdown, and we're also gonna be doing, like, you know, the coverage stuff too, because once again, rush and coverage go together, so y'all need to know that. But anyway, let's go get into the film. If you guys don't enjoy this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more. Let's get into it. All right, so this is the first one I want to look at. This is in the red zone, and we are running quarter half. If you don't know what quarter half is, it's just cover 2 and cover 6. But we always know that it's 2 things. Either we call this to where the best receiver is, or we called it field and boundary. And so since we have the cover 2 side on the boundary, I'm going to say it's quarter half or cover 6. Half quarter will be cover 9, but you get the point. So AJ's playing the flat. We have Xavier Watson a deep half right here. We're going to have Jesse and Mike play their quarter or deep quarters. Okay, D's playing the quarter flat right here. We're gonna have Devon Diablo play the middle hook, and then we're gonna have the hook to seam right here by Caden Ellis. So offensively, this is what they're doing. They're pretty much doing stick, nod, and stick. So remember, it's quick game, because like I said in the intro, a lot of this was on quick game, and it's really hard to get sacks in quick game. So a lot of quick game is just you're splitting the field in half. So we're going to be getting the stick nod on this side, where you get a mandatory outside release, and a stick nod is that stick and you're going to nod it back to the post right there. A lot of y'all love that route on Madden. Y'all spam it. And then we're going to get the actual stick route over here, so you can sit it down right here or keep going. If you're matched man to man, you're going to have another outside release right here. You must outside release on these, okay, especially these two, because if you release inside, you're going to turn this corner inside towards this route right here. Now, it doesn't matter as much right here because he's going down the field, but you must outside release right here. That's why we call it an MOR, or sometimes a bus ticket, fade, whatever. As long as you take that outside release, you're doing your job, because it's for the love of the game. You're probably not getting the ball anyway. And Tyler's eyes, they go over here first because he wants to work that stick concept with Chris Olave, and he's not open. Okay, so when we watch this play through, you're gonna see what I'm talking about. So you see there's a quick play action fake, and you see the quick games right here. So you got the stick not at the bottom, stick at the top, and you see he wanted to throw this, but D Offer was all over it, okay? Because look at this. He gets the top of his drop, he's ready to throw it, and Chris Olave's not open, okay? He's also turning over the wrong shoulder. You want to turn over this shoulder, that way he can put the ball that way, okay? Because if you're turning like this, like, you have to go back to the ball unless it's just a natural movement to keep going that way, okay? It's a lot of stuff right there, but you get what I'm saying. But also, if you look at this rush, you see that Leonard Floyd has got the edge, and he's kind of scaring Tyler Shuck. But we also have Brandon Douglas right here, who's on the inside, who's been doing a very good job of cleaning up sacks. So when you watch this, Leonard Floyd kind of scares Tyler Shuck. It was also not open his first read, and he starts to escape out, because you're taught in quick game that when your first and second read aren't there, normally it's after your first read, because a lot of quick game is just a split field concept on both sides, okay? So if your read isn't there, you got to take off. And so Tyler Shuck does a good job by taking off, but once again, Brandon Douglas has been one of the best cleanup guys in the league, okay? So he gets a cleanup sack. And so when we watch it here from the end zone, and you see he's right here, right over the guard, okay? And he does a good job of initially getting to his chest. He knocks Alvin Kamara down on accident, because once again, I do want to show y'all this, okay? When we back it up, you see, like, you know, we have our stick concept over here where he's working out. We have our mandatory outside release and mandatory outside release, and then a stick nod right here. This guy's supposed to sit down in the middle when everybody, or if everybody expands, and everybody expands. So in theory, he would be open, but since he failed, the timing was thrown off. And so once again, that leads to a sack. Okay, you get back to the end zone angle. You see He's going to have a really good right here. Just getting into the chest of Cesar Ruiz. Leonard Floyd's going to force him to, you know, get out of the way. And also look at Jalen Walker. He had a good spin move on. Whoo, turned him all the way around. But anyways, you see, good job chasing him down, and we got a sack in the red zone. I really like it. And we knocked him out of the red zone at that. Okay, this right here is the second sack of the game. It's probably my favorite because James Pierce Jr. showed off something that a lot of his critics did not see from him. Okay, so first of all, we are in cover 4 or quarters, so everybody on the back end is playing quarters, right? Okay, then you have your middle hook, you have your quarter flats by D and Kaden Ellis. Okay, and as we know, quarters is a lot of match-based stuff, so these guys are responsible for number 2. Okay, I'm talking about, you know, the safeties and the overhangs, right? They're responsible for number 2, right? So for example, if number 2 goes vertical, that becomes the safety, and then he can pass that off. Okay, if number 2 goes under, okay, you're gonna get an under call and you're gonna look to number 1. Okay, and that's exactly what happens. Okay, but also if number 2 goes out, he's gonna go match that because he has anything faster than flat or anything out for number 2. And once he goes out, that detaches him to do whatever he wants. He can go double 1, he could go to the backside 3, he could do whatever. Okay, but conceptually what we're getting here, we're going to be getting double slant right here. So you're going to get an inside slant and then a regular slant right here. That's an ugly ass slant. Let me do it a little bit better. You're going to get a regular slant. That's way better. Okay, and then we're going to just be getting hitches right here. Okay, one's going to be a little bit deeper than the other, but this is like one of the zone beaters. This is a man beater. This is a zone beater. So you have your options. And I think Tyler looks this way first because once again, you know, it's a zone beater and it is zone. However, nothing was open. Okay. And you're going to see something from James Pierce Jr. that I really like. So first of all, let's look at the coverage. We're going to see what happens. So Kaden Ellis isn't able to get set, but the ball gets snapped anyways. And you see, oh wait, he looked the other way first. Okay, my fault. That's on me. But you see, he was trying to bang an inside slant, which he probably could have, but then he quickly gets to the outside one, and D offer, you know, he expands with that because once again, look at this. Number 2 went under and it was in front of him. So that gives him the free reign to now look at the quarterback. He can zone off and look at the quarterback's eyes now because, you know, he's taught to be aggressive in this. Quarters is aggressive. So now he's over there. He's about to expand to that inside slant. And so Tyler Shuck sees that. Okay, he sees that he's expanding to the outside slant. If he throws that, that's pick 6. And so he turns to the other way, which you're not supposed to do in quick game because you can't progress in quick game. It's 1, 2, 3 balls out or catch and throw. There's no catch, hitch, throw. No. So then he progresses to the other side, and he also sees that Devon Diablo, he's closing in on this guy right here. He also sees that Kaden Ellis is pretty much blanketing this guy. He also sees that this corner is squatting on this. There is nowhere to go with this football, y'all. And it doesn't help that they're in empty. And so then you're going to see James Pierce Jr., he's just going to come free and get his hands on Tyler Shuck and then drop him. And he got a half a sack for this. I personally think it should have been a full sack. Okay, but you're going to see why here. So look at this. Here goes James Pierce Jr. on the edge. And y'all, look at what he was able to do. Okay, now this is a backup tackle if we want to be objective. But however, we're seeing things that are translatable. It's not like he's just dominating. It's not like he's just playing on rookie mode. You feel me? You seeing something that, okay, if he can develop this, we got somewhere. Okay, or we're going somewhere. So look at this. Look at this rush. Okay, James Pierce Jr. is known for speed, so he's trying to beat you on the outside. But look at that. He set up that speed to power. And look at this. He walks him all the way back into Tyler Shuck, y'all. Look at this. Where's he going to play it through, y'all? Look at this. He's going to play. Come on, y'all. That speed to power is killer. And so then it forces Tyler to try to step up, and he got his hands on him right there. Should have been a sack right there. But, you know, he's going to get a half sack with Brandon Dorless. And I'm not mad at that either because he's been hooping too, okay? 2 of our best pass rushers right there as far from a cleanup and then up here just win on the edge from that standpoint, right? They're winning. And we got a sack and now they're back at midfield. So I like that. All right, so here's the 3rd sack of the game. And once again, it's quick game, y'all. So look at this. Offensively, we're going to be getting a slant flat at the top of the screen. So you're getting a slant by the number 1. You're going to get an arrow by the running back. Slant flat. Cool. Now, this right here is where it gets interesting. So you're going to be getting spacing, right? If you don't know what spacing is, it's really like an out, an OTB, and then like a little hook route right here where you're trying to, once again, you have a man beater, you have a zone beater. So now defensively, we're getting into cover 9, all right? So this is what we're doing. So we're into the boundary and we're playing the quarter side from the boundary. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be locking this up man to man because we trust AJ to win 1-on-1. Okay. Xavier Watts is playing that quarter flat, but since we know this is a 3-by-1, he can cheat to this side of the formation. And that's what he's going to do. He's cheating over there and looking for anything coming across. And so since these guys switch release, 3 comes across, he has his eyes all the way on that. Caden Ellis is going to be going to the running back. Jesse Bates is staying over everything in his deep half because remember, this is cut quarter, half, or half quarter in this sense actually. So he's playing cover 2. He could really just play that half field, right? You're gonna have the flat by Mike Hughes, the hook seam right here by D, and then you're gonna have the middle hook right here by Devon Diablo. Okay, so half quarter really allows this strong safety, I would call him, to really just stay high because anything coming across the middle is going to be robbed by this guy. Now granted, nothing like actually threatens him and goes all the way across the middle, but that's the whole essence of this coverage because remember, this is a middle of the field open coverage, which means the middle of the field is open, okay, but there are certain checks and adjustments to close the post or close the middle of the field, and this right here is an example of how you close the middle of the field. So let's look at Tyler Shough because once again, you know, we got him to hold the ball, right? So let's watch this. So you're gonna see when he gets this ball, he's looking to hit this spacing concept because he knows his zone, okay? But look at that. When he wants to throw this ball, guess who's in a good position? Mike Hughes is in a good position to stop this, okay? D offers over top of this hook route, and Devon Diablo's really just playing catch technique as a linebacker. Well, he played safety, but he's pretty much a linebacker now on the number 3 receiver, and he's, you know, riding him across the field into that hook route. And so you see also Xavier Watts is looking at this formation, looking for anything coming across, communicating with Jesse to stay high, okay? You look over to the top of the screen, you see Caden Ellis is, you know, flying out there with the running back. You see AJ Terrell's in good position on the slant route. So nothing's really open, okay? Because then look at this. You see Tyler Shough, he's going to pump fake towards the right. He's going to look back to the left and try to see if this route is open. And what I'm assuming is he's trying to move that middle defender over there to open this up, but he wasn't buying that, okay? We are in half quarter. He has a responsibility to a receiver, not to have zone eyes, okay? And so you see, now this route comes open just a little bit. He comes open late in the down, but by then you see like he just gets scared off of his spot, okay? So look at this. Leonard Floyd flashes, Brandon Dorless flashes. You know, he starts to try to, you know, retrace his steps into the pocket. And also, guess who else is retracing? Jalen Walker's retracing. And guess who that is? Kelvin Banks Jr., his good old friend from Texas, okay? And so he's able to chase him down and get a sack. It's like, we're getting sacks on quick game, y'all. That's how good this pass rush was. And so once again, when we just flip it to the end zone angle, y'all, let's look at this, y'all. So look, we're gonna look at Tyler Shough's eyes right here. Okay, I want to throw that speed out. It's not there. Okay, boom. We're gonna look to the middle now. Okay, that route is definitely not there because he's draped all over him. Okay, now I gotta run. Now. So you see the lane is created right here. That lane is right there to escape. Okay, and once again, remember Brandon Dorless flashed. Leonard Floyd starting to get around him. And so, yeah, the lane to go is right here and go now. Because also remember, Kato's got pulled out of the box with that arrow route. So he sees nothing but green grass and also over here a blocker for AJ Terrell. So he can just get up and run and go score a touchdown, right? Right? Wrong. And so you see Jalen Walker's able to come off, stay in that rush lane. I will say this. Jalen Walker has better rush integrity than James Pierce Jr., and that's why he's getting some of his sacks because he knows how to fall back and not get too far in field. Because look at this, he's just hand fighting now, right? He's like, okay, I'm gonna go now, and boom, easy sack to you know what I'm saying, to pad the stats. I like that. All right, so this right here is the sack by James Pierce Jr., which was a really good job in my opinion because it caught these guys off guard. Okay, and he's right here over the guard. So conceptually, what we're getting here, we're getting mesh. And it's gotten into by an interesting way, I should say, okay? Because it's not something I've ever seen. It's not something I would necessarily run either because, look, you're going to get the low mesh right here, right? You're going to get the high one right there. Cool. You're going to have a mandatory outside release right here. And then number 3 is running a post, okay? Now, my assumption is since they have Chris Olave right here running this inside post from a number 3, I'm probably assuming they're trying to get a matchup where they try to get the linebacker onto, you know, Chris Olave. You could just run down the middle of the field and get a good matchup, but like that's Devon Diablo, right? That's not necessarily a good match. We also have Xavier Watts and Jesse Bates, you know, giving him help. So defensively, we are in quarter half. So let's look at this real quick. You're going to get AJ locked on man-to-man on the backside once again into the boundary. Okay, we're going to get our quarter. We're going to get our other quarter. And we're going to get our half right here. Okay, but also remember, since this is a 3-by-1 and since we're playing cover 2 into the boundary, we still are able to have him cheat back over to the formation. Okay, Devon Diablo is dropping, K Nose is dropping, Jalen Walker's adding into this pressure right. So it's a sim pressure, which is a very creative one in my opinion, but we still get into it a different way. We're still able to get Tyler Shough off his spot, right? So the way this plays out, y'all, you're gonna see Chris Olave goes in the middle of the field. Both of these guys are going to be over top and underneath respectively. Okay, this gets taken out of the picture. D Offer's going to, communicate. I love the communication by him to hey, zone off. And both of these guys, Caden Ellis and Diablo, they're going to pass off these mesh routes easily. Edge is able to stay over top of this mesh route, and there's literally nowhere to go, y'all. Like, this whole thing was blanketed. So when we watch this play through, you're going to see what I'm talking about. So we got a good matchup right here with James Pierce Jr. on a guard. Okay, so look at this. Boom, he's going to take that outside rush. You're going to see the sim pressures taking form with both guys dropping out on the edge, okay? You see James Pierce Jr. caught this guy off guard with his speed. And I guarantee you Jeff Ulbrich saw this and was like, okay, we could probably, something right there. We can get him those different matchups. And we're starting to see he's getting comfortable with his rushes, okay? Because he did this in college where he would line up against different guys, pretty much like matchup hunting, okay? And even though he didn't play a lot of snaps in college because they were like very heavy on the rotation, I guarantee you if he plays a lot of snaps, he's going to be really freaking good, okay? But you see, he catches this guy off guard with that speed rush, and he knocks this guy down. That shows you that his play strength is up there, okay? And you see he's going to get Tyler Shough off his spot, scared him damn near, and he's able to trip him up and get a sack. Like, come on, y'all. This guy will be our best pass rusher for the next 5 to 10 years. 100%. So we get to the end zone angle where everybody gets set up right. So he's going to get James Pierce Jr. in this spot. Devon Diablo is. So look at this. Here we go. Check it out. Let's look at his pass rush rep. So he's over the guard. He's pretty much playing like a quasi 3 tech. He's going to take that rush. He's going to get through both of them, right? So look at this. The tackle does his job, right? He's supposed to, get out there to him and offer inside presence with this left arm. Okay, he does that. And once Caden Ellis shows that he's not coming, he tries to, allocate full time to him now. And he just gets through that double team like it was nothing, y'all. He gets through it. And so now he has to, just finish the job. He was able to finish the job. Normally we don't finish that because guys aren't athletic or young enough to do it, but we finished it right there. So like, look at that. You see the play strength. You see the ability to, win against anybody. The play strength is right there, able to keep his balance and then chase down and get a tackle or a sack rather. So like, I'm loving this 100%, y'all. And then this is the last sack right here. So this is at the end of the game where, everything's pretty much over. We're going to be running dagger. Okay. So we're going to be getting a deep in cut by the number 1 receiver. You're going to be getting pretty much like a seam route by number 2. You're going to be getting a crossing route by number 3. And then you're going to have this guy running a shallow read. So if it's zone, he's going to just sit it over the ball. Now, granted, he does run this like a little bit deeper. So he's going to be running it like this, or he's going to sit about right there. Okay. But he also has that option to keep going if he's matched man to man. Okay. And also the running back's going to flare out immediately. So we are in cover 6. So we already know that we're going to have this quarter right here, quarter right there. This half field safety. We're going to have AJ in the flat, hook seam, middle hook, quarter flat. Cool. So not only was this a quick pressure and a sack, but like there was really nowhere to go outside of the the shallow sit route. So let's look at this. Check it out. So you're gonna see that when Tyler Shough gets this ball, he's gonna be looking towards the field, okay? Because look, that's where he wants to throw the ball. The deep in cut is gonna be right there, okay? But like it doesn't even get a chance to develop because Rook wins pretty much immediately and gets a sack. Like, you could probably argue that if he had some anticipation and knew what he was seeing and had the clarity, he could probably anticipate this shallow sit, okay? He could probably anticipate that. And you're right, that's a valid point to make. However, all of that goes out the window when the pass rush gets home, because look at this. He's at the top of his drop, and he's not even in a good spot to like really just set up and throw the ball, right? And Rook is coming open, so by the time he steps up, this guy forces a step up. Rook's right there to really just finish it off, okay? And that's a sack. Like, we're not even letting guys develop routes downfield. And let's get to the end zone angle, and let's look at Rook's technique right here, because the initial move was to like get him to show his hands, and then he actually did this move. So let's look at this. So we get into his rep, right? Let's look at this. So this little shoulder stuff he's showing his hands, it's all smoke and mirrors, okay? Because look at this. He's trying to get that guard to like shoot his hands, okay? And he does. He shoots that inside hand, and look at that. He swipes it off, and now he can just get up underneath him and then run, bend the corner, and get the sack. Like, yo, we have a pass rush, y'all, because look at this again, y'all. Look at the move to set him up. He set up to show his arms or to show his hands. He gets him to show his hands. He throws, or he swipes the first one off, and he's able to get up underneath the second one, bend the corner, and then finish the sack. That's teach tape, y'all. That's teach tape pass rush stuff right there. Like, why didn't we play these guys more last year? All right, now I'm not saying that this type of stuff will be like sustainable. Well, it will be sustainable long term, but like, am I expecting us to just not blitz again? No. I'm not going to expect a 50% blitz rate again. But what I would like to see, or what I think will happen, is that we will eventually lower that blitz rate and it'll return to like the normal spot, which I would assume is probably like maybe between 15 and 20. Because if you look at how our guys are ascending, Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. namely, these guys have been getting sacks for like the past 4 weeks consecutively, okay? And so if these guys are coming on like this, that allows Jeff Ulbrich to, you know, stay very conservative with his coverages, because Jalen and James can win one-on-one. We have our version of the Jays. The NBA Jays is Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. We have Jalen Walker and James Pierce. We have our Jays. And this isn't even accounting for Brandon Dorless or Braylon Trice, who still hasn't even played yet. Leonard Floyd's doing his job. Like, we have a lot of areas to, you know, attack the quarterback from, even Kaden Ellis, because why would you stop blitzing Kaden Ellis? You're going to keep doing that because it's going to get you sacks and free hits on the quarterback. So, like, I'm really liking where this defense is going, because if we can keep this up and the offense can get going, it's over with for y'all. It's over with. That's enough for me. If you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more. More will be coming out in the future. See you guys later in the next video. Goodbye.